2024 has been my highest earning year on Etsy so far, and I'm going to share all the details of that, exactly how much I earned. I'm going to break it down month by month, and I'm going to share with you 7 actionable steps that helped me achieve that success. So if you are an Etsy seller or you're thinking about becoming one, this video is going to be packed full of insights just for you. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jenny with Jenny's Wreath Boutique, and I make and sell wreaths on Etsy, and here on YouTube I teach you how to make high-end beautiful wreaths for yourself, and I also teach you how to sell them on Etsy. Before I go over the numbers, keep in mind that it's just me running this business. I don't have any employees or anything like that. Every now and then I'll pay my kids to, break down boxes or simple things like that. And then my husband edits my YouTube videos here, which is not really associated with my Etsy shop. But keep that in mind that this is just part of my business. I also have the teaching side in my VIP group and things like that. So I also spread myself in other places. I'm just talking about my Etsy income here. After I share all of that, go down month by month and share the total, I will also share with you how much of that is profit, which is really important because you could have huge numbers of revenue, but it doesn't matter if your profit is only small. So I'm going to share that as well. At the beginning of 2024, I had a revenue goal of $120,000. In order to reach that goal, break it down, make it attainable, I divided that up by 12 months, which is easy to do. That's $10,000 a month. So at the very beginning of the year and throughout the year, I had that goal in mind to make $10,000 every month. And then of course, fourth quarter is usually busy. That's a very easy goal. And I'd, in my head, hope to surpass that. And that if I had any slower months leading up to the fourth quarter, my fourth quarter numbers would make up for that. But I really wanted to hit that number even in my traditionally slower months of the year, so that if I did beat that in my busier months, it would be extra. So I'm excited to share all of those numbers with you. Also, one of the reasons why I wanted to break it up in 12 months, other than just having that actionable goal, is that if I made all of that or most of it in the fourth quarter, I would absolutely burn out. Like I said, I'm one person. To make that kind of money in just a few months at the end of the year would be bananas. And so I like to spread it out throughout the year so I can make a good yearly income still with just me. January was $6,781. And that's actually the lowest amount that I had made. January is usually a pretty busy month. So actually that was lower than what I usually do in January. So I was kind of disappointed in myself. However, I was also on vacation during one of my traditionally busiest weeks. Right after Christmas, I usually sell a lot of year round and winter wreaths and Valentine's Day. So I wasn't quite up to where I normally am there. While January did start off slow and I was under my goal for starting off, it's okay. What was popular that month was a winter wreath design that I had taught inside my VIP group. And anything that I put on a heart base was very popular. And then just a year-round magnolia wreath. But also while I was on my vacation, and I have a vlog about it I shared last year, I also visited one of my wholesalers and I shopped in person. That was the first time I had shopped in person at one of the wholesale vendors I buy from, and it was amazing. And I bought for Christmas and fall. And that arrived later, and I'll talk about that later in this video. But I also got a bunch of stuff for spring, and that was delivered quickly. I had them ship it out ASAP. So I ended up getting those things in the middle of the month. And I did an unboxing for that as well here on my YouTube channel. And that was a game changer. Being able to shop in person, see everything and the quality. It's so much easier to make decisions and plan for the year when you shop in person. So I totally understand if you don't have a big business yet, you can't really shop wholesale. You can do this in stores too, and buy things like when they're on sale, or just shopping in person is so helpful if you can. And that's one of the reasons why when I also sell some stems, I like to show the detail and show how I use it, because that can be incredibly helpful when making those purchasing decisions. February. Wow. February was $14,651. That was a big jump, and it totally made up for how behind I was in January. All those spring and year-round florals that I had ordered, had arrived, and I ordered a lot of them. And the quality was so good. So the wreaths I was able to make were such good quality, and that also made them a little more expensive, so it definitely helped my profit margins as well. February, I had a very popular year-round wreath. It was my magnolia wreath, and I also had restocked, because that big wholesale order, I had restocked some of my really popular greenery, so I was able to restock some popular designs. And I had a new tulip bush that I loved, and I was able to make a bunch of wreaths with that. And I had a bead hoop wreath and another spring wreath that were very, very popular. And I had enough to sell kits and wreaths. So it's nice because when you make a design, but you have a ton of supplies for it, you can sell a lot without having to make a ton of new designs and list them and do all of that work. And I talk about this in my other videos. Like, going deep instead of wide is so helpful. But when you're first starting, you kind of need to go wide to see what you can go deep with. What I mean by that is you want to see what is popular and then double down on what's popular. And then you can sell that over and over. But you got to figure that out first. March was $13,050. And I had my magnolia wreaths were just going strong. I bought a ton of that stuff. And the quality of those leaves is so, so good. A magnolia bloom wreath, once again, was selling very, very well. I had a yellow wreath that sold really well that month, a dahlia wreath, and greenery wreath with white anemones and blueberries. Oh, those blueberry stems are so good. But this is a great example of, I was able to get these really good quality florals, and they made some beautiful wreaths. So I had a few wreaths that were popular in February and March, so it made it really nice. But I also would sell out of those. So in April, my total was $10,230. My pink and white blossom wreath sold very, very well that month. And I had a pink ombre wreath that was really cute. I wish I could have made more. It was, oh, so gorgeous. That's another one I taught inside my VIP group. But those wreaths sold really well, but I was also sold out of a lot of designs at this point. May was $11,666. I had a lot of magnolia wreaths and lemon and some patriotic. I wish I would have had more patriotic, but I didn't. June was a slower month. June and July are usually my slowest months. June, July, and December actually are usually really slow for me. Not really slow, just, steady, plugging along. But this one, I sold $6,896. Once again, I was on vacation this month, so that does make things a little slower because I'm not working on new designs. My processing time is longer, and it's just naturally a slower month. At that point, I was also sold out of a lot of items, but I did end up making a kit with a wreath that was really popular toward the end of the month. And then July, I made $12,752. And I also had a big fall order arrive, and that was really helpful to make new wreath designs. New summer florals and 2 kits and wreaths were popular that month. To make $12,000 in July is very uncommon for me. It's actually really good, very good. I was kind of surprised. My plain magnolia wreath, no blooms. I was sold out of the white blooms at this point, but my plain magnolia wreath, I revamped it and made it more of the green leaves facing forward. I made a reel with it that was pretty popular, and it really showed the quality of the leaves, and that wreath started picking up some momentum and started selling really, really well. So that was great. I had a purple wreath with the artichokes do really well, and some mauve designs. So getting into those moody fall colors already in July. So that was really good. August, I made $17,888. We're starting to pick up, getting into the busy season, but it started earlier than normal. This was my busiest month so far that year. And one of the reasons was my big Christmas order, fall and Christmas. All those stems that I had ordered back in January when I was on vacation, those arrived, and I was able to restock some popular designs from the previous year without having to retake any photos or anything like that. Just restocked some popular items, just a few. And I ordered a lot of supplies for those. But I also got an order for a large one. So it was my Norfolk pine wreath, And I made a reel because I was actually kind of surprised to sell any Christmas in August. This was toward the end of August, and it was right before I opened the doors to my VIP group, because I only open the doors to join that group twice a year, once in the spring, which is coming up soon, and once in the fall. So this reel went viral pretty close before I opened the doors. And so the reel, I'll show it here. So I got an order for one of my Christmas designs, but they ordered the largest size. It was a 30-inch size, so it was really big. So I wanted to show what that looked like, because if you've ever made wreaths in different sizes before, you know they can look quite different depending on the size ordered. And so I wanted a video on that. I thought it would be interesting, and that video took off. Went very viral. And so that wreath started selling so fast. It was kind of crazy. It was very nutty. And I actually sold out of that pretty quickly. I also had fall taking off at that time. I had a Halloween wreath that was really popular and some fall wreaths that were really popular. And then because that Christmas wreath was selling out, I had a similar one that was also selling out. And then the momentum from that and new followers on Instagram, it brought my audience more focused on wreath buyers instead of wreath makers, which helped the rest of the season go well, because when I made reels, they were attracting people who wanted to buy the wreath and not people who were wanting to make the wreath. I also had a year-round olive wreath that did really, really well in August and September, and it sold out. I hopefully can restock that one soon because it was really popular and it was easy to make. September, $26,587. This was my highest revenue month of the year, and it was really crazy. Once again, the Norfolk pine wreath, just every time I would restock it at all, it would sell out very, very quickly. And then some of my other Christmas wreaths would also sell out. It was really, really simple design, but it would just sell out really quickly. And that was great. But I also felt a lot of stress trying to make everybody happy. So everyone who wanted one could get some. So I was frantically ordering. My main wholesaler was sold out of the greens I used. So I got similar ones from other wholesale companies. And thankfully, they were similar enough that I didn't have to change any pictures, because the picture I took last year of that wreath was a really good picture. I credit that picture with helping to sell the wreath really well. For September, my cedar wreath sold really well, Norfolk pine. My magnolia wreath, just a year-round magnolia wreath, sold really well. And so I was trying to make designs that were fast, easy to make, high quality, and that were similar to the style of the Norfolk pine wreath, because that was selling. So I tried to do more of what worked, and that was really, really helpful. I focused on a small amount of designs that sold well and that were easy to make. So for September, it was just such a good month because fall was selling very well, and then Christmas was selling really well. So it was like a double dip kind of month. October was great. It was 25,139. Once again, I sold a lot of the Norfolk pine wreath. I was able to restock as much as I could. So that kept my sales for October really high. My Magnolia and Magnolia Bloom wreath was restocked. So that was great. I got some more Magnolia Blooms. I was kind of surprised to be selling those in October because they're a year-round wreath, but the quality is really good, and a lot of people use them as gifts, I believe. That month, I also had a red berry wreath that sold really, really well. I actually have a tutorial for it here on my YouTube channel, and that was great. Oh, I love that wreath so much. All of these wreaths, I'm kicking myself for not ordering even more supplies, but it's hard to know. So I always err on the side of caution. I'm pretty conservative with buying, but this year I'm buying more. November is usually my highest revenue month of the year, but because I was sold out of so many things, it wasn't. It was $19,971, so just under $20,000 for November, which is still amazing. My red magnolia flower wreath, I had made that with the red magnolias. Because the white magnolias were so popular, I thought the red would do really well for Christmas. I added a little bit of cedar and red berries in there, and it's so pretty. Oh, I love that wreath so much. It's so classy, and it's really easy to make. I also made another cascading cedar wreath because I was selling out of all the designs that were really popular. So I made another wreath design that was pretty neutral, easy to make, but that style was really popular. So once again, using what I could find because buying Christmas florals in November can be tricky because a lot of the good stuff is sold out. So I had to guess. Luckily, I was able to find some good quality products still, and that cascading cedar wreath with bells sold really, really well. December is usually one of my slowest months, and it was slower than the past few months for sure, which is nice to have that natural break around Christmas time. So in December, my total revenue was $13,396. So in December, my shop, the wreaths in my shop, there were not a lot. So I was kind of scrambling to get things up there. So I had gold wreaths that sold pretty well. I didn't have a ton available, but those did help fill out my shop. I have a tutorial for all three of those gold wreaths here on my YouTube channel. My year-round magnolia wreath sold well still, and the red magnolia wreath, I had a winter wreath kit, and I sold the kit and the wreaths, and that did really, really well. It was great. I love that wreath. Once again, there's a tutorial here on YouTube for that wreath. And then mid-December, I made a heart wreath for my VIP group. I wanted to teach them how to use up some Christmas supplies to make Valentine's Day wreaths. So if they had extra, they could use it for that. And that wreath sold like crazy. I completely sold out of those, I think the day I listed it. And then I was able to do a restock, and those sold out quickly as well. And that was in December, so mid-December, I think December 17th might have been when I listed it. I can't remember. But mid-December, so it was weird to sell Valentine's Day before Christmas, but it was nice to get rid of Christmas stuff. So I actually didn't have that slowdown that I normally do right before Christmas. It was pretty busy. That kept my December revenue pretty high compared to what it normally is. So that was nice. But then right after December, usually the day after Christmas, my shop goes nuts again and it gets really busy. However, this year I just didn't list things because I was really sick the day after Christmas. So I was sick for a couple weeks and then started to feel better. That was my year. And the total for 2024, my Etsy revenue was $179,000, which blew my goal out of the water. I was just so thankful. So I'm going to share some tips with you on how that happened and how you can have the success too. However, remember that is the total revenue. I have shipping costs. Shipping wreaths is not cheap. And I have my supply costs. Like I said, I use really good quality supplies, so they are not cheap. But I have a video here on YouTube how I price my wreaths to sell. So I do have a good profit margin, which is nice. The profit margin on my actual wreaths that I make myself is much higher than my kits and my stems because I also sell to wreath makers who want to have that quality of supplies that aren't quite shopping wholesale yet, or they're making them for personal use. So I don't make as big of profit on that, but they're also fast and easy to put together because I'm not making the actual wreath. All that said, so $179,000 is my total revenue for Etsy. But once you take out my shipping costs, my supply costs, and my Etsy fees, then I'm left with about half of that. So my profit is about 50% after all of that. One thing that was really helpful this year was Etsy had their new share and save. So I could send my links, and I did a lot of my own marketing, which I highly recommend. That's going to be one of my tips I share. And having that share and save link, so if someone clicks on that and buys something from my shop from that link, I save 4% on my Etsy fees, which is great. That means I only pay 2.5% of the Etsy fees. And then there's the processing fees, which is about 3%, but you have that even if you have your own website and everything. So that helps my fees get a little bit lower. And it's also really helpful because you can see which listings you brought or which sales you brought your own traffic to, which is really nice. So here are 7 things that were really helpful for me to have such a successful year on Etsy. And these could apply to you. They may not. If you're a newer shop, I'll tell you other ways you can do it. But the first thing was buy early and get high quality materials. I think visiting my wholesaler in person was a game changer for me. I was able to confidently buy higher amounts than I normally would. So that was really nice. And I was able to buy early, which is great. So you can plan for your year much further in advance. If you are a brand new shop, however, or you're about to start your shop, I have 4 Stock Your Shop workshops. I have one for every season. So if you are about to start, I do not recommend going and buying a bunch of stuff. I have a completely different way I started. So you can start slow, grow slow, and then eventually get to that spot. So I will have those linked. You can buy them individually by season, but I'm actually bundling them together, and that's going to save you a ton of money. It's an amazing deal. So if you get all 4, that's by far the best deal you're going to get. But you can also just buy one season if you want one season. But that should save you a lot of headaches and time. And I teach you my 3-part formula that I teach inside my VIP group. But anyway, that's going to be really helpful for you if you are brand new and you're not a member of my VIP group, because I teach all this stuff in my VIP group as well. And you have lifetime access to that. So if I update them, which I am planning on doing from time to time, you'll have access to that too. So wanted to throw that in there. If you are new, don't go to a wholesaler and buy tens of thousands of dollars of materials because that's crazy. Second tip, double down on what is selling well and do your absolute best to keep those in stock. Also, be flexible and creative. When I run out of things that are selling really well and I need to find substitutes that are close, totally do that. If you have to, you can retake pictures. I had to retake some pictures for my cascading cedar wreaths, but they sold out. I kept it on the same listing. I just retook pictures if the supplies were a little bit different, and totally do that. For my magnolia wreaths that sold really, really well, I ran out of stems, so I would buy the garland, or sometimes I would use both, which I did in my recent vlog here. I had a magnolia wreath that I used part garland and part stems. The leaves are exactly the same. The end product looks the same. So whatever is in stock, buy that. In fact, right now, as an example, the garland and the stems are sold out because I wanted to restock a bunch, and they're not going to be in stock till later in the year. But they have a new garland that is the flowers and the leaves together. So I have some of that on order that should arrive soon, and that will help me restock that great selling wreath. The third tip is have year-round wreaths that sell well all year round. As wreath makers, yes, we can really capitalize on having seasonal wreaths, especially fall and Christmas. Oh, they do so well. And spring. Really, every season's great. But having year round wreaths that sell well all year round can be a game changer for your shop. It's nice because they sell well all year round and you won't have them out of stock for long periods of time. So that listing quality score will be really nice and easier to find and search. I talk about this in other videos. But the more you sell a wreath over and over, the higher it ranks in search, the better listing quality score and things like that. So it's really important to have items in your shop that sell well all year round. I do get asked this question a lot, like, Jenny, I don't want to make the same wreath over and over. I just want to make one of a kind wreaths and just list them as they come, and that's it. And I always tell them, that's great. You can totally do that. But having something that sells well year round, I know sometimes it can be drudgery to make the same wreath over and over. I happen to love doing that. I don't know why. I just get in the zone and I love it. I'll put a Netflix show on or listen to an audiobook. I love it. But it's also so fun to make new designs, although I hate listing them and taking photos of them and doing all of that for every single design. So having something that sells well all year round, over and over, is nice because when one listing does well, it can help your one of a kind listings rank higher in search better because it will give your overall shop a customer and market experience score that's higher, and that will help your other listings. So even if you only want to do one of a kind wreaths for every season, I still recommend having something that sells well all year round. The fourth tip I have for you, and one of the reasons why I think my shop did really well this year, is having items that are high quality, high profit, and easy to make in your shop are a game changer. One of the reasons I love wreath making in particular is you can have order values that are pretty high and you can make pretty good profit off of them. So my average order value was $100. So in order to get to $179,000, I only had to sell 1,800 wreaths. I'll say I had to have 1,800 orders because my average order value was $100. So even though I have some, like I do sell stems and things, and that does bring my average order value down usually, but my wreaths, they are expensive. But they're expensive because the quality is so good. They look absolutely beautiful. They look real. And so when you make something that's such high quality, you might get less sales if your cost is too high for a lot of people. I totally understand that. But the sales you do get, you'll be making more per hour, if that makes sense. And if you can keep your shop busy and full of orders while you have those high end designs using like the best quality materials, your profit margins are going to be better. So if you use my pricing strategy of 2 or 3 times your cost, go watch the pricing video. It's much more nuanced than that. Let's say your resell for 3 times your cost if you get a good wholesale deal. If you don't, maybe don't price them that high. It just depends on the market and what other things are selling for. But let's just say you triple your cost of your supplies to sell your wreaths. If my supplies cost $10, so I could charge $30, I'd make $20 of profit. For the same amount of time it would take me to make a really high end wreath. I actually think the nicer wreaths are easier to make because the materials are so easy to work with. Most of the wreaths I made that sold over and over took me 30 minutes to make each. So really, really nice. Let's say my material cost was $50. So if I use the same pricing formula, I would charge $150. So my profit would be $100 as opposed to $20. Same amount of time, but I make $100 profit as opposed to 20. That was a really basic example, and it's a little more nuanced than that, like I said. But having really high quality items, making beautiful, just stunning designs that you're proud of will also make your customers want to come back for more because they're just so impressed with the quality. And I know purchasing a nice, gorgeous, realistic looking wreath can be expensive, but it will last for years to come, and you'll just have the happiest customers. Tip number 5 is spread it out over the year. Have your revenue goal broken down over 12 months so you can see what your monthly goal is. And you can even break it down further to do a weekly goal so that you're not just so slammed in the fourth quarter and then not busy at all the rest of the year. So if you really just try and have stuff for every season and additional have those year-round wreaths, you're just going to be so much better off and you'll have a nice steady income all throughout the year. And maybe if you're making your monthly goals, but then that fourth quarter comes and your sales go up even more, it's all extra. So your fourth quarter can be even bigger. Tip number 6 is know what's popular and what's going to sell well and list early. Staying on top of what is trending and is popular will definitely help you make more sales. And when you list it early, you get those early shoppers. And then by the time more people are shopping, you've got more momentum behind your listing. So when people are searching for it, it'll be ranked higher on Etsy or wherever you sell. Inside my VIP group, we talk about the trends often and we do a trends report so they stay on top of what's selling well. But also, traditional always does well. But if you stay on top of things that are trending, that will definitely help you with your sales. The last tip I have for you is kind of a big one, and it helps all the other things that we talked about, and that is marketing and being very consistent with your marketing. And marketing, I'm not talking about buying ads or anything. I don't buy any ads, and I like organic marketing, social media marketing, because it's free. It just takes some time, but it can really, really pay off. I don't think my fourth quarter would have been quite as profitable as it was if I didn't have that reel take off and go viral and just completely, actually, it didn't just go viral on Instagram. It went viral on TikTok. It went viral on Facebook, which is kind of crazy. So just consistently putting out content for your items, showing the detail. I think the reels for me have been really good because having a video and showing close-up detail of your items, if you're like me and you really, really care about the quality of your items, sometimes it's harder to show the quality in just pictures. So using that video, you can do close-ups and holding it and showing the size. And I think people can really see the quality. You would not believe how many times people have asked, how long will this last? How often do I need to water it? Because they think it's real. And so once they find out that it's faux and that it's going to last many years to come, it's much easier for people to make that purchasing decision. Yes, Etsy is a marketplace, and good SEO, pictures, all the right things to do to optimize your listings are very, very important. But you also need to have marketing on your own. You need to get the eyeballs, the traffic to the listings. And then that's when all of the pictures and all of that really help. But the more marketing you can do and make sales all on your own, that's when Etsy's algorithm kicks in and you get organic traffic also from Etsy. So, working together with Etsy, if you just leave it up to that and don't do any of your own marketing for free, then it's going to be a lot harder to make those sales. You could buy Etsy ads. I never have, and I don't think you need to. You absolutely could. If you don't want to do social media, you're probably going to have to buy ads. But if you have the time and you are willing to learn and put yourself out there and make the videos, it's going to pay off so much in the long run. And it is a big part of my success on Etsy. There are a few missed opportunities I had as well, but I can't really kick myself. I'm so proud of what I've done, but there are things I could have done better. It's never perfect, and I'm hoping to improve on those things this year and have my Etsy shop do even better. So I'm always looking back at what went well, and then I want to see how I can improve on that, but not hiring anybody. I still want it to be myself. So, what I'm focused on this year is streamlining things, more DM automation. I need to work on my email list. That was a big missed opportunity for me. For everybody who had reached out and asked, when will this be in stock? I should have put them on an email list and I could have just emailed everybody. I'll let you know when this is back in stock. It would have saved me so much time and I could have gotten more sales. You live and you learn. I could have been more organized. I waste a lot of time looking for things, and I'm trying to get better at that. Another thing that would have helped is having more patriotic designs. Those sell really well for me, but I just didn't have enough of those, not even close. So that's one thing I'm going to work on this year. And also Easter. In 2025, Easter is later, so we have more time to sell Easter items. So I'm really hoping to do that as well. They always do really well for me, and they're fun. I love Easter. And I'm also going to be buying larger quantities of the things that are tried and true and sell really well. So I had a number that I would always buy this amount, and I have upped that number quite a bit, but I'm still limited by my space. So I'm buying less different things. Well, I say that, but I do have a lot of stuff ordered, but larger quantities. So when I do have something go viral, you put all that work into marketing something and then it's sold and you can't restock it, you know, it's like a wasted opportunity. So this year I'm hoping to have more available. And that goes with kits too for here. I thought I had a lot, but they always sold out very quickly. So I'm hoping to have more. But those are just a few of the things I'm going to work on this year, in addition to continuing with the things I did well that contributed to my shop's success. I hope this video was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments which of those tips was the most helpful. I would love to know. And if you are wanting to learn how to make wreaths like a pro and even sell them on Etsy if you want, I would love for you to get on the wait list to join my VIP group. The doors are not open now, but you'll be the first to know when they are. First dibs in the group. Yeah, I'll have a link in the description for how you can do that. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.